Welcome back to Season 2 of Snubs and Dubs, where we're talking the snubs and dubs of the 87th Academy Award for Best Picture. I'm your host, Kyle Tobiasson, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Jason Miller. Jason, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Kyle. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. I had a birthday yesterday.
You did have a birthday yesterday, and you know what? We have a little snubs and grubs to start off the episode.
Shit, no way.
A little birthday snubs and grubbies.
What's this?
This is a Royal Duchy, I think they're called, from Donut Party.
Oh, wow. It's got some weight to it.
They're kind of heavy boys. They got some clout. Ooh. They are thickies.
I'm not going to eat this whole thing right now because that's a thick boy.
That would take like 25 minutes. It's pretty big.
I'm going to give it a fat bite, though.
Give it a fat bite. Mm-hmm. How's that, Royal Dutch? I think it kind of gave me vibes of like similar to like a apple fritter, or like maybe like a cinnamon bun kind of deal.
It's got all that going on.
Oh, yeah.
It's got like a little bit of a fruity center.
Oh.
Gets a little tartness to cut through the sweet a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just good.
Gordon Ramsay over here. You're welcome. Happy birthday.
Thanks. Did you watch anything last week?
I did. I watched Luca.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was nice. I liked it quite a bit.
You've been on the Pixar kick lately.
I have been. You know, sometimes animated films hit just right in the spot.
Yeah.
Which would make a great segue into this movie. But first, have you seen anything this week?
Yeah, I watched Murder on the Orient Express.
Nice.
Which, like, I'm going to go to Death on the Nile. And I hadn't seen the first one before. So watched it.
Only makes sense.
Yeah, it was totally passable. It was.
That's kind of all you're asking for.
Yeah. It was like fun in a way, but then also like the mystery. It made me want Knives Out more. Like, it made me want to watch Knives Out more because that's just such a like better mystery type movie. But yeah, it was fun. It was kind of goofy, but yeah, it's good.
It's the homework's out of the way for the next one. That's what matters. You've done the prerequisite. Now you can do the 200 level.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's more than like a B.
But yeah, that was all I watched. And so we'll just get into it. We'll just cover into it.
Let's just dive into this thing.
Of course, Season 2 of Snubs and Dubs is covering the films from the year 2014. And for episode 2, we are talking about Big Hero 6. Had you seen it before?
I have.
Yes.
I watched this bad boy in theaters when it came out.
Yep.
And yeah, it was a good movie to watch in theaters. I enjoyed the experience.
Yeah.
How about you? Have you seen it?
I had also seen it in theaters. I think I had seen it after that too.
I feel like you have.
It's probably been a while since then though, but I was interested to revisit. I won't give all my thoughts now, but yeah, it was definitely one that was on my radar for a while, but definitely in the conversation when it came to the best animated feature, there's a lot about that, but we'll talk about that later.
I do want to say, I did not remember as much as I thought I would.
Really?
I remembered like the heavy scene at the end.
Yeah.
But kind of everything getting there. I didn't remember much about how it got there. Like I kind of remembered the overarching beats.
Yeah.
But like specific details I had none of.
That's true. I kind of remembered it a little bit. What's the word?
Like vaguely?
Vaguely. Yeah, vaguely.
Nice.
I remembered it vaguely, but I was more surprised with how it was kind of playing out when I was actually watching it. But if you were interested in Big Hero 6, I've included the links to the physical media related to it in the show notes. If you buy it through that link, it'll help out our show. Or if you have any other Amazon shopping to do, follow that general link to help out our show in the process. A reminder that this is going to be a spoiler-filled conversation, so if you haven't seen Big Hero 6 and you want to, go ahead and do so. It's on Disney+. But without further ado, let's get into it. Robotics prodigy Hiro lives in the city of San Fransokyo. Next to his older brother, Tadashi, Hiro's closest companion is Baymax, a robot whose sole purpose is to take care of people. When a devastating turn of events throws Hiro in the middle of a dangerous plot, he transforms Baymax and his other friends, Go Tamago, Wasabi, Honey Lemon, and Fred into a band of high-tech heroes. Big Hero 6 is directed by Don Hall and Chris Williams, and is written by Jordan Roberts, Robert L. Bard, and Dan Gerson, based on the Marvel comics of the same name, which were created by Man of Action, who subsequently created the best cartoon of all time, Ben 10. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. Really big upgrade from 6 to 10.
It stars Ryan Potter as Hiro, Scott Adsit as Baymax, Daniel Henney as Tadashi, TJ Miller as Fred, Jamie Chan as Gogo, Damon Wayans Jr. as Wasabi, Genesis Rodriguez as Honey Lemon, James Cronwell as Robert Callahan, Maya Rudolph as Aunt Cass, and Alan Tudyk as Alistair Cray. It has a runtime of 102 minutes and it released initially on October 23rd, 2014 at the Tokyo International Film Festival before going wide in November 7th, 2014. So Jason, What did you think of Big Hero 6?
You know what? I liked it. It's a pretty good movie.
Yep.
I don't know if it's an amazing movie. It's definitely a very kid-friendly movie.
Yeah.
Very accessible to the youth, which automatically docks at points. How dare you make something family-friendly? But it has some cute animation to it. I love the city of San Fransokyo.
Yeah.
They did a really good job on that. Like meshing the Japanese art style and the San Francisco art together and to create one beautiful hullabaloo, really.
Yeah.
How about you, Kyle? What'd you think?
I was actually a little bit disappointed. I don't know what was happening, but when I was watching it, all I could think of was this is not how I remember this movie.
It was definitely a lot better in my memory than it actually was.
That's how I felt exactly, because throughout the movie, I was expressionless basically the entire time. I didn't really laugh. I didn't cry. There was only moments of kind of mild enjoyment and then appreciation for the animation. And so despite this being a good movie and definitely a passable movie for kids, I just this experience was almost not enjoyable for the revisit. Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Did you maybe build it up more in your mind than it should have been?
Possibly, but then this was a movie that I didn't really think about post-release as much as maybe some of the other movies we're going to talk about this season. And so I remember liking it, and I have 2 Baymax Funko Pops. So you think, oh well, I liked the movie
You're
enough
one
to
of the biggest
purchase
fans around,
but to purchase some products for it. But yeah, something about this rewatch, I don't know, it just kind of soured me.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't quite get soured on it, but definitely going through, I wasn't impressed.
Yeah,
I really at the end was that was a movie.
Yeah,
I've finished watching a movie. I'm gonna go to bed now.
Yeah,
but I didn't dislike it at any point.
No, that's the thing is I didn't hate watching it, and obviously you mentioned the whole world they built is beautiful. Even being 8 years old, the animation is still stunning.
It really is.
Yeah. Should we just get into the plot?
Let's hop into some plot. We start off with a back alley robot rumble where a kick-ass bot with Wolverine claws and a saw blade dismantles clamps from Futurama. Yama, the kingpin-looking motherfucker behind the champion bot, is then challenged by Hiro with some crumpled up bills for the illegal betting portion of the night. Yama calls Hiro Zero, which is already a KO, and then immediately saw blades Hiro's shitty little rabbit-looking thing into pieces. Hiro challenges Yama to a rematch with a wad of cash, and it turns out his rabbit-looking robot is actually more of an aquatic animal as Hiro sharks the big man and dismantles his bot. Just as Yama unleashes his goons to teach the little shark a lesson, Hiro's brother Tadashi shows up and prevents the 3 grown men from beating a little child. It was kind of a weird... They were really into it too. They were not scared to turn a child into paste. Before they can make a clean getaway, however, the pair is briefly arrested but released into the care of Aunt Cass, who, like her first name, is 75% ass.
Yeah, this character has been majorly sexualized in the recent years.
Not surprised.
Have you seen that edited image where she's leaning over the counter and they've just cropped a cleavage onto her, basically?
They put 2 Subway footlongs into her shirt.
Yeah.
You know what? For the longest time, I thought that was the lady from the Bee movie who they had done that to, but they just look really similar.
Yeah. But that also goes to kind of their memory of the movie, because if you had come across that picture and you didn't necessarily remember what Aunt Cass was wearing in this movie, you could just have seen that still image and been oh, was she really wearing that? And I just didn't even notice.
And I wouldn't have put it past them.
No.
You see the rest of their motherly female characters.
Yeah.
They're all packing.
Yeah. Just the Disney dump truck. That's the trademark.
You got the Disney dump truck and the Pixar plumps. To try and distract Hiro from another bot fighting ring, Tadashi brings his little brother to the Robotics University at which he's studying and lets Hiro nearly get killed by all of his friends. Go-Go is working on an electromagnetic suspension bike, Wasabi is working on laser-induced plasma fields, Honey Lemon is working on some gas or bomb thing that creates chemical metal embrittlement, and also Fred's there, a mascot kind of guy. Tadashi shows off his master project, Baymax, a personal healthcare companion, a robot that is able to detect, diagnose, and treat thousands of medical conditions stored on a little green memory drive with a lovable, huggable exterior. After hearing the key phrase, "I am satisfied with my care," Baymax leaves his patient and walks back to his charging station, just as Professor Callahan walks into the office and tempts Hiro to join the college the only way he can make a stubborn, bot-fighting, illegal gambling teenager do something, by telling them they don't want to. This fully baits Hiro into working on a project to catch Callahan's attention at the upcoming student showcase. And after hours of prep time, brainstorming, and a mound of potential ideas, Hiro comes up with absolutely nothing. Of course, Tadashi knows the only real cure for writer's block is little head trauma and shakes Hiro around while channeling his best impression of the dad from James and the Giant Peach by telling him to look at it from a different angle.
Yeah, good one.
Thank you. This time without getting murdered by a rhino. Once again, this somehow solves everything, and Hiro comes up with the brilliant feat of engineering, an army of micro-robots, an entire swarm of tiny robots controlled telepathically from a fashionable headband. This tech wows both Callahan and a dodgy investor named Cray, who seems to be more in it for the money than the science. I love that they said that up again.
Nice, yeah.
Hiro decides to tell the capitalist pig to beat it, bozo, and accepts the offer to go to the same robotics program as his big bro Tadashi, who stops Cray from walking off with one of Hiro's bots in his pocket. Before anyone can celebrate, however, the convention center roars into flames, and Tadashi runs back inside to rescue Professor Callahan, who is apparently still inside. I love how the woman runs out like, Professor Callahan, who I somehow both know and also don't care enough to help, is in that building. Someone go save him. The fire, however, puts the ash into Tadashi and incinerates him in a massive explosion.
Oh no.
Losing his brother is apparently sad for Hiro, who spends the next few weeks moping in his room instead of going to the cool university program he was accepted into, and of which just lost its professor.
Oh my god.
While being sad, Hiro accidentally drops part of his battle robot on his foot, and when he cries out in pain, Baymax is awoken once again and attempts to help out this sad little guy. Hiro's attempts to get the lovable goof back on his charger result in him getting face down and ass up right beside one of his microbots from the showcase, and it's going crazy. Hiro sarcastically sends Baymax on a mission to follow where the microbot wants to go, resulting in a Scooby-Doo-esque chase around the city, bringing them both to an abandoned warehouse. They break in to investigate and find that this warehouse, like Aunt Cass, is filled with jugs. Jugs of microbots, that is, as a man in a kabuki mask unleashes a swarm of his own invention back at Hiro and Baymax, who both narrowly escape with their lives. I think one thing that kind of soured it, there's so much setup to get to anything.
Yeah.
Like there's so much introduced in a short time where the first action is right now.
Yeah.
And we're probably a third of the way through the movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little under that, but
Yeah.
still, there's so much setup and introduction to things.
Yeah.
The movie gets real for a little bit as local police are useless, and Hiro has to sneak a low power and apparently stumbling drunk Baymax back home without alerting Cass. Hiro realizes this kabuki'd man must be responsible for the fire that killed Tadashi, and he begins to upgrade his cuddly nurse robot into a stone-cold karate killer. Another drive gets added to Baymax, filled with the sickest martial arts moves, and carbon fiber armor is added to his squishy body to make him combat ready. The two once again find the microbot swarm by following the last one in his possession to some docks, but before they can get a drop on the villain, they get interrupted by Hiro and Tadashi's friends, who were called by Baymax previously to do some emotional healing on the depressed kid. Luckily, they made their entrance when they did, because the microbots kick Baymax's ass and force the six of them. It was at this moment I realized that Big Hero 6 is because there's six of them when they're sitting in the car, and I've watched this entire movie before not realizing that's why it's called that. I don't know why. Oh, where do they get the Fantastic Four from? They have to make a getaway in Wasabi's car, which ultimately ends up in the San Fransokyo Bay as they narrowly escape the tiny robot horde. They regroup at Fred's parents' mansion, where Fred uses comic tropes to undeniably peg Cray as the man behind the mask. Less scientifically, Baymax's scan of the masked man can be compared to scans of the entire city once Hiro runs some upgrades on Baymax, and the whole crew really, to turn the 6 nerds into 6 large good guys. After a montage of Hiro giving everyone superpowers based on their university projects, for some reason set to Fall Out Boy's Immortals, I don't know why they made that stylistic choice. I did not think it fit at all.
That song is just like in this movie, just they will not let you forget it. It's like the first song in the credits too, and this whole montage sequences to that. They just love this song.
Yeah, and it was like a good normal movie score before that.
Yeah.
And then someone just left Fall Out Boy playing and like, oh yeah, let's use that. Oh, I'm so pumped up right now. I want to go kick a football. Hiro shows off the new and improved Baymax, built to kill. No Hippocratic oaths taken here. Hiro flies Baymax around San Fransokyo before running a scan on the entire population, nailing the masked man to a small island off the coast.
That feels invasive.
It does.
Just mildly invasive. The fact that a robot is scanning everybody in the city's like body temperature and all their details.
He has the biological makeup of tens of millions of people. He's a monster. He must be stopped. He knows too much karate to have that information.
Right? What is this, Facebook?
We had to get meta.
Oh no.
I did think this was a really cool shot though. Them flying around. Probably my favorite part of the movie, not gonna lie, was them just flying around San Fransokyo.
Yeah.
Like it didn't need a lot of the action stuff. Wasn't as good as that. It was just like such a cool scenario.
Yeah.
This could have been a short, you know?
It could have. Short Hero 6. Small Hero 6?
Tiny Hero 6. The crew rolls up under the cover of darkness, and though a little rusty and trigger happy, they're able to line up logos from the abandoned industrial facility they find themselves in to pieces of equipment they had seen earlier when attacked at the docks. Video footage saved here shows this abandoned building was a testing facility run by Cray, and that the event that caused the building to be entered into quarantine was a failed experiment with a teleportation system that glitched when sending a human pilot through, thoroughly unimpressing the government advisors there for the demonstration. The test was forced to be aborted when the unstable portal began destroying the entire building, causing the pilot to be permanently lost. After putting together these clues, Mr. Kabuki shows up and the team of heroes is thrust into combat and crushed almost immediately. Undeterred, Hiro and Baymax actually do something and rip the microbot controlling headband off the face of Professor Callahan.
What?
That's not Cray. Blindfolded by rage, Hiro rips the medical drive out of Baymax and switches him to kill mode, but is stopped by Hiro's friends before he liquidates the professor. Hiro takes this poorly and flies Baymax home to recharge for another murder attempt, leaving them all behind stranded. Baymax is able to talk Hiro out of his anger by showing him sweet videos of Tadashi building Baymax to help people around the world and not for murder. Hiro realizes that maybe he went a little too far, just as his friends show up at Hiro's house to make up and show him video evidence they found at the site. Turns out Professor Callahan's daughter was the pilot lost in the other dimension, and Callahan blames Cray for testing the technology on real human beings when he knew it wasn't safe. Real Elon Musk guy here, allegedly.
Wow.
A final showdown then ensues as Callahan crashes the unveiling of the latest Cray tech and uses his microbots to rebuild the portal directly above Cray Tech's headquarters to destroy everything and kill Cray afterwards. Our group of heroes show up one more time, and though initially dummied by Callahan, the team uses the giant peach look at it another way method and turns the table to destroy Callahan's microbot army. Really, it's incredible that this strategy has worked for literally everyone except for James's dad. At the conclusion of the battle that sees all of the microbots sent into the void and Callahan defeated, Baymax senses life deep in the portal, so he and Hiro fly in to save the pilot who's presumably still alive. After successfully grabbing the lost shuttle, Baymax makes the ultimate sacrifice to use his last rocket fist to launch Hiro and the pilot back through the portal, because they are satisfied with their care. No. However, since clearly they're in 0G and clearly the rocket fist had more than enough power to send them back through the portal before it collapsed, he clearly could have just grabbed onto the shuttle and shot his rocket away from them to put them all back through. Baymax clearly must have realized that he despises the killing machine he has become and finds the best solution to be saving the two humans while killing himself.
Yeah, and also, okay. Nope, skip it. All right. We'll get to there.
We have like 3 more lines.
Yeah.
He fires his rocket fist into the back end of the shuttle and sends them flying back out the other end. Back on Earth, Callahan's daughter is rushed into an ambulance, Cray is safe, and Callahan is in custody. Other than the loss of Baymax, it's a happy ending for all involved. But wait, things get even happier as Hiro realizes that Baymax had placed his healthcare drive into the palm of his rocket fist. And that with a quick rebuild of years of Tadashi's work in like a day from Hiro, Baymax is brought back from the dead and ready to drop some more healthcare, baby. The end.
Nice. I was going to say, when did he put it in the hand?
It never shows him doing it.
No.
You don't have enough time to actually do it unless he did it before or something. But
yeah. Because like, if at that point you have to think that the healthcare chip is in the closed gloved hand and Baymax is speaking to Hiro while only having the evil karate chip in, shouldn't he just like not function in that way?
Yeah, you'd think so.
But
what I don't understand is they build up the low power thing earlier in the movie. They reference that there's a better battery that they could use for Baymax. And then Baymax has a low power thing where he has to get rushed back to a charger.
Yeah.
So you would kind of think that maybe he just goes in knowing he doesn't have enough battery power to make it back out. And then that's why he has to sacrifice. Like he can't get back. He has to sacrifice himself or something.
Yeah.
Because that could make more sense. I don't understand. Because it's such an easy solution. Like he doesn't have to kill himself. He can just rocket fist away from him and push them all together.
Nah. Needed an emotional clutch.
Nope. Yep. We needed some loss. That's immediately reversed.
The dialogue in this third act is awful.
It's not great. it kind of loses a lot of immersion. It's just like beat after beat. It just quickly, it's enough conversation to get you to where they need to go next.
Yeah. And all of the other 5 heroes, I don't know who was writing these lines, but they're just garbage.
Yeah.
Wait, I can use this. Okay, just do it. And then the other one's like, now that's what I call a chemical reaction. Oh,
it's like, well, yes, that literally was a chemical reaction. There's like normally with those lines, there's some like other second meaning to read into it. And that's the source of comedy. But that one was just like, well, this chemical reaction did what we expected it to.
Yeah. I didn't like even care about any of the other 5, really, to be honest.
They're not built up very well.
No.
Like Wasabi is just scared the whole time.
Yeah.
And what's his line? Like he kind of gets crushed between like 2 building tiles.
Yeah.
And then realizes he can just like use his laser things to destroy the floor to go down.
Yeah.
And he says something like, wait, I can go this way. Like it's something's dumb like that.
Yeah,
like, it's not good. He has dialogue.
Probably the worst dialogue out of everybody.
Yeah.
And like, how does this man not kill himself or his like friends countless times? Because when they're getting thrown around, he still has his laser fists on. Like you were going to like fling your arms in some direction that's going to cut off a limb or cut off somebody else's limbs. Like if those plasmas, like blades, I guess, are as powerful as we are expected to believe, people are losing bodily.
Oh, absolutely.
Pieces.
He probably is going to like chop off his own leg by accident, honestly. Yeah. Also, like Hiro is OP. Hiro is so powerful in this. He knows everyone's tech better than they do. And they're all like university students who this is their like life's passion. They've been working on these projects. And Hiro in like one montage scene while Fallout Boy's playing is able to build better stuff than they can.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else bothered me? Everybody calls him Hiro, except for Honey Lemon.
Who goes
she calls him Hiro.
Yeah.
Which if they're Japanese, that makes sense. Because that is like how Japanese pronounce R's. It's got like a little D sound. And so that's why she says Hiro. But everyone else calls him Hiro. And even she, when they originally meet, calls him Hiro.
Yeah, it's only afterwards. Like the first time that she references him as
Hiro.
Yeah, I can't do it right.
It's okay.
Is like the second time that she says his name.
Yeah.
And then every other time after that.
Yeah. Like if you were going to go for like, I mean, this is a Japanese infused city with like an American city. If you were going to have the proper Japanese pronunciation, then like have everyone commit to it, I think.
It's weird.
Or just like not, but yeah.
Also, her character does some weird things with dialogue because sometimes she's sassy, but she's not introduced as a sassy character at all. She's like a really bubbly, charismatic, happy person.
Yeah.
And then when they're like at Fred's mansion, she's just like, that's not what the French word means.
Yeah. And I think I like Gogo maybe the least because like she has all the makings of a very stoic character, but then she throws out these quips that are they're just not good.
No.
They're just very cringe. And I'm just like, you can show her doing cool things and showing her, be like, because most of her lines are about like empowering herself or like as like a woman to be empowered, and like you can just show that show her being a badass because her like suit is really cool and she does a lot of cool shit, but like I don't know. I don't know who wrote this. I mean, I do actually know who wrote this. Jordan Roberts, Robert L. Baird, and Dan Gerson. What are you guys doing?
There's already a source material. Just go closer to that.
And okay, if that's a male Jordan, this is 3 men writing women empowerment lines.
And when like Gogo uses like, woman up, it does not land.
No,
it's not
doesn't.
A smooth delivery.
Really
it is like, we're going to pause for a second. She's going to say woman up, and then we're going to pause for a second. And it does not have the sauce it needs to hold that.
Ugh, yeah. And like the emotional core of the movie is like obviously Hiro and Baymax and then his brother Tadashi who passes. But then they're all like there to support him, but it's not really about them. So I guess you can't really ask for them to be as well developed. But they're just like, they're honestly just there to be extra bodies with extra cool powers to, you know, probably sell more toys. But
yeah. And I mean, like for a kid's movie, I don't think a kid's really going to care about the quality of the dialogue between them. So that's probably something that their exact target audience isn't worried about.
Yeah.
But that's going to kind of affect how everyone else watches the movie and receives it.
Yeah, but it didn't really affect it that much because critics gave this a really good score.
Damn. Let's hear those scores.
Yeah. I say that, but where do you think the audience and critical scores were landing?
Before, I was going to think like 75s to 80s, but hearing that they were better than that, I'm going to say 85s to 90s in that range.
Yeah, Rotten Tomato critics was a 90%. Ooh. Rotten Tomato audience is 91. IMDb was a 7.8, Metacritic a 74. So that's kind of more in line with what I expected for all across the board. So like a 7 to 8 out of 10. But like no, like 90%. That's high in my opinion. That is
really high. I wonder if this just because it does do some emotional things really well. I think that scene with Baymax sacrificing himself, even though clearly in the rules of the movie he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
But whatever. I think that is still carried pretty heavily, and it does actually show that in a way that can make the audience really like connect with it. So I think that maybe saves it, but I didn't think it would be saving it that much.
No, and I don't even think it's better than like Frozen, which preceded it.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought that the flight scene didn't even like reach the heights of the original How to Train Your Dragon flight scene.
Well, no, but like, I mean, are we asking it to be How to Train Your Dragon?
No.
Here you can't.
But then but it's like, I mean, I like love How to Train Your Dragon. So like every time there's like a flight scene like that, I immediately try to compare. And with this also being an animated movie, it's an easy kind of one-to-one. And even though How to Train Your Dragon was 4 years before this, like it's a cool flight scene, but like it's just not up to my expectations.
Not good enough.
But yeah, clearly a lot of people enjoyed this. I think I would tell people to give it a second viewing after a few years though. Because I think, at least in my opinion, it might just be me who's changed because clearly I'm not the same person as I was 8 years ago.
I'd hope not.
But like, I think this movie doesn't age very well in some ways. In the writing, I think it doesn't age very well. The animation will still be beautiful. Like sometimes with animated movies, you look back and you look at like Toy Story and like their lips are like flowing into each other. And like, there's like some weird janky shit. But like with this, like this will hold up because it looks consistent to the world. Yeah.
I will say like on a rewatch, it's not great. I don't think it's ever going to go down to bad though. It's just too easygoing and like it is still likable and there is still some good characters in there. I do like Hiro. I like his journey.
Yeah.
Tadashi was a little too perfect for me, but he also dies quickly, so that's fine.
It's not fireproof. So.
It's not fire. Yeah.
Clearly not
perfect. Working on some fire resistance. Damn. But it's like, yeah, it's never going to get to the ranks of bad, I don't think.
No.
But definitely you see a lot more flaws going back to it than you might have on the first watch.
Yeah. And that might be why I'm more critical of it too. Because like I do remember this being good and obviously it's so highly rated that like when I go back and it kind of is like a background movie, it's, in my opinion, it's like not worth the acclaim that it got.
No. But if you asked us in 2014, we'd probably be closer to where it was at.
Probably. But I wouldn't consider it one of the best animated movies of this year. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we got a whole 20 something more weeks.
Yeah. However, because of its probably high claim and it is a Disney animated movie, it did very, very well at the box office. On a budget of $161 million, it made $649.6 million worldwide.
Woo, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's cash in the bank.
That was good enough for number 11 of the year.
Yeah, damn.
It was a big hit.
It was a big Hiro, big hit.
Do you want to give our scores then?
Let's give our scores.
Okay.
The more important ones. Critics and audiences, they're wrong. What are you going to slap down for enjoyment?
Oh, man.
I got my number ready.
Go for your number.
Okay. I'm going to put down a 3.
Okay.
I never disliked anything. Well, I was never like under my baseline, this is an average movie. It never dipped below that. Although there were times where I didn't really care and like checked my phone once or twice.
Yeah.
it was never unenjoyable. It was never a detriment to watching it.
Nope, I can agree with that. And like 3 was the first number that came to my head when I was thinking about it, and I don't think it deserves to go lower than that. That's pretty average in my opinion. Like a 3 out of 5 is a pretty average movie.
Yeah, you slapping down a 3?
Yeah,
tight. Craft.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably the best that it's gonna get in the animation, and like the voice acting. I didn't have any issues with that, so I'm gonna give this a 3.5 for Craft. I thought it was
totally fair.
Good. There are a couple scenes that I really liked, but overall it was not like incredible or anything.
Yeah. I did think it was really beautiful, and the score was pretty good except for that random
Fall Out Boy. Oh god, we lose points for blasting Immortals.
And so I think I'm actually going to go with the 3.5 as well.
Nice. I will say I do love Fall Out Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not that song, especially not at that place. For execution, I'm going to give this one a 3.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't anything to blow me away. It didn't like, there was no one part that came together that was like, oh yes, this performance has really sold me on this otherwise a bit above average movie.
Yeah. I'm going to go 2.5 because I found it very middle of the road. And there was some nice bits, but then like the parts that were like really like legitimately made me roll my eyes, I can't overlook.
That's fair. For rewatch, I'm going to give this a 2.5. If someone's playing this, I could see myself sitting down and joining, but I'm not going to go out of my way to watch this one again.
I totally agree. I think it's 2.5 for rewatch. And like I thought going into it that it was going to be a higher score for rewatch, because going into it, I was excited to rewatch it. Yeah. It had been a little while. And I don't have the 4K of this one. I bought it when it was on Blu-ray, and I hadn't upgraded my stuff to 4K yet. And so when I was putting the disc in, I was like, oh, I really wish I had that 4K disc. And then I watched the movie again, and now I don't want the 4K disc because I don't need to upgrade that.
Some things don't need to be watched in 4K.
No.
Well, that is going to bring my score to a 12 out of 20 for a 60%. And Kyle, just a little underneath that, 11.5 and 58%.
Yeah.
It's early enough in the rankings that I feel confident that it's not going to beat Nightcrawler. So I'm just going to toss that in as our number 2s for the season.
I really thought I was going to like this a lot more than I did. I didn't think that I was going to like this more than Nightcrawler. I always kind of knew going in that this was definitely going to be like the number 2.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't think that my opinion was going to be this soured when compared to what I originally thought about this movie. But
I remember when I first watched it, I remember when I walked out that I had some issue with how Baymax died because it was like a kind of a dumb way to do that. But when I was rewatching it, I couldn't remember what my issue was. So I was thinking to myself, I was probably being a little hard on it. It's just a movie. Like it probably wasn't that egregious. And then I watched it again and no, it's that egregious. Just put your other hand on it and shoot the rocket hand away and you live. Like it's that simple.
Nope. La la la. That was actually a good bit. I did like that bit.
That was
the
good.
fist bumps. Yeah.
Baymax is a really good character. I will say that. I really enjoyed that. Wish he had a better movie built around him.
Me too. Yeah. I think Baymax is definitely my favorite part of this movie. And it was a lot of people's favorite parts on Letterboxd too.
Ooh.
But I don't think I captured that in the ones that I picked. But as I was going through Letterboxd for our fun Letterboxd reviews, slick transition.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. Gotta pat myself on the back. But I like a lot of people were basically saying like this movie's okay, but Baymax makes it better. 5 stars rewatched by Rachel. When Wasabi said, "Do you people know what the word quarantine means?" I felt that.
It was kind of fun hearing references to quarantine now that the connotation way different.
Yeah. 4.5 on a rewatch by Ellie. This is such a fun film, but the line, "Our parents died when I was 3, remember?" is truly the most awkward and blatant exposition of all time. Like, Hiro, he's your older brother. I think he probably remembers the emotional trauma of both your parents' death.
Yeah. It's in that first scene, they also have like, "You graduated from high school when you were 13 and this is what you do?"
Yeah.
And some other like not very well woven into their lines when you can just show that quite easily when he's applying for college. You assume he's not in high school anymore.
Yeah. And you don't even need that line. Like, because Tadashi asks, like, what would mom and dad think? Like, that's all you have to do. And then maybe make him like sit there for a second, like think about it, and then like go into another line. Because you don't have to say, they died when I was 3, remember? Like, yes, he knows.
Yeah. And also, if you're living with your single aunt, I'm going to assume your parents aren't there anymore. Maybe didn't need to feed that one.
Yeah. Did they steal a lot of this from Spider-Man?
Maybe.
There's a lot of moments in here that, like, I mean, they live with their aunts. Their parents died when they were young.
They
lose a parental or figure.
Oh, there's a lot going on here.
1 star added by Zach. Big Hero 6, more like Big Hero sucks.
Good work, Zach. I think they needed to get knocked down a peg by that one.
Yeah. And a last one. 1 star watched by Sterling Chapman. Movie sucks ass. My friends call me Baymax because I'm fat.
Oh.
So maybe his opinion on this movie is a little bit sour.
Yeah.
Just based on
well, Baymax
Sterling
is the best character in this.
Yeah.
So just don't take that as an insult. Take that as them saying that they are a boring supporting cast around you, the real hero of the story.
And they are satisfied with your care. I guarantee it. All right. Well, we're getting into the award details. Do you know what this was nominated for, if any?
I don't know what it was nominated for. I'm assuming probably nominated for Best Animated without winning. If it did have anything for the score, it would have been lost from Fall Out Boy. So I'm going to stick with maybe just the nomination for Best Animated, but I'm not sold that it got that.
Oh boy. This was nominated for Best Animated Feature. It won Best Animated Feature.
Really?
Yeah.
I was only on the fence about it getting nominated.
Yeah.
This does not strike me as the best piece of animated work to come out of this year.
No. And this was a huge point of controversy for this year.
Wasn't How to Train Your Dragon 2 this year?
How to Train Your Dragon 2 was also nominated. There was also 2 really good other animated movies that were nominated, Song of the Sea and The Tale of the Princess Kaguya.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then there was the Lego movie.
Oh, yeah.
Who was completely absent from this.
That's a mistake.
Award ceremony. Yep.
We'll get to that. But
we'll
that's a mistake.
But yeah, like this one, I remember being surprised when this won. I was sitting there like, what the fuck? What is going on? But we're going to talk about some of those other ones later in the season. Some other notable awards. It was nominated for the BAFTA Film Award for Best Animated Feature Film. It was also nominated for the Saturn Award for Best Animated Feature Film. And it was nominated for 7 Annie Awards, including Outstanding Achievement in Animated Effects in an Animated Production, Best Animated Feature, Outstanding Character Design, Outstanding Directing, Outstanding Storyboarding, Outstanding Writing, Outstanding Editorial in an Animation Production, all of which it was nominated for. It did win Best Animated Effects for the Annie Awards. Overall, it was nominated for Best Animated Feature, or like the equivalent of Best Animated Feature, in 38 places.
Wow.
It only won 3 times.
And one was the Oscars.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it lost most of these to the Lego movie.
Which, I mean, pretty solid film.
Yeah. The Annie was won by How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Though. Yeah, there you go.
So
they deserve it.
Yeah, they did. Does any of that surprise you?
Yeah, I did not expect this to be the best animated film of the year. This is like, I don't have any problem with like the technical things, although the best writing, like, come on.
Yeah.
That one, maybe not. For all the effects and everything, I'm fine with that. It was a well animated movie. I thought it looked good.
Yeah.
Really consistent style. So that all jives with me. But that is a pretty shocking win for best animated.
I agree. Some other interesting facts. According to Scott Watanabe, who is the art director of this movie is set in an alternate future where after the 1906 earthquake, San Francisco was rebuilt by Japanese immigrants using techniques that allowed movement and flexibility in a seismic event. After the city was finished being rebuilt, it was named San Fransokyo due to it being a city with Japanese and American architecture combined.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
That is sweet.
What a beautiful picture of what America could be. Never will, but what a great idea.
Baymax's movement and posing was modeled after studying the movement of a baby in a full diaper. The production team watched videos of fire ants. Oh, sorry. That was the bad transition.
Oh, fire ants.
Sorry. And the production team also watched videos of fire ants as inspiration for the movement of the microbots.
I guess that makes sense.
So yeah.
Imagine your job is to watch little babies crawl around in their little diapers all day just so you can model design around that. That's sick.
After Disney's acquisition of Marvel Entertainment in 2009, Disney CEO Bob Iger encouraged the company's divisions to explore Marvel properties for adaptation concepts. By deliberately picking an obscure title, it would give them the freedom to come up with their own version. While directing 2011's Winnie the Pooh, director Don Hall was scrolling through the Marvel database when he stumbled upon Big Hero 6, a comic he had never heard of before. Here's a quote. "I just liked the title," he said. He pitched the concept in 2011 to John Lasseter, who was the chief creative officer of Disney and Pixar at the time, as one of 5 ideas for possible productions for Walt Disney Animation Studios. And this particular idea struck a chord with Lasseter, Hall, and Chris Williams, who was the director of Bolt. In June of 2012, Disney confirmed that Walt Disney Animation Studios was adapting the Marvel Comics series and that the film had been commissioned into early stages of development. Because they wanted the concept to feel new and fresh, head of story Paul Briggs, who also voices Yama in this film, only read a few issues of the comic, while screenwriter Robert Baird admitted he had not read a single page of the comic. So,
which I mean, it is not necessarily an issue because you could make something separate.
Yeah.
But maybe you could have come up with cooler characters from the source material.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think they were just banking on the fact that they could maybe have the Marvel tie at some, like, in some way, or to use a Marvel IP, but they barely used a Marvel IP. They just used the idea of a Marvel IP and the name of one.
That is pretty wild.
Yeah. So at that point, you're just making shit up.
The entire concept was, I just think they're neat.
Yeah. I got a last fact here. The post-credits scene was only added to the film in August 2014, very late in the production, after co-director Don Hall and his crew went to see Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy. He stated that, quote, "It horrified us that people were sat there for an end credit scene just because of the Marvel DNA. We didn't want people to leave our movie disappointed."
Oh.
So they put in a post-credit scene because of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Interesting. And they didn't want to.
No.
Yeah, they put it in. They were so disgusted with it, they did it themselves.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't know it was there.
No.
I'm pretty sure I watched it in theater.
Yeah.
But I did not remember in time to watch it.
It's just a Stan Lee scene. Like Stan Lee voices with TJ Miller talking about their underwear.
Yeah.
Wearing it front, wearing it back.
Man, this was the start of a trajectory for TJ Miller that did not end where he thought it would.
No.
It had all the upward momentum he was maybe hoping for, but I don't know if he necessarily saw the downward momentum coming even faster.
Yeah, definitely not. Oh, well, do you have any other final thoughts on Big Hero 6?
I will say, they have a good Matthew Lillard-esque character in this, in Fred. I enjoy that in movies.
Yeah.
I like seeing a wacky stoner dude who makes meta commentary on popular culture.
Yeah.
They did that good.
I liked his lines where he's being like stretched apart.
Yeah.
He's like, my arms. Oh, wait, I'm in a suit.
Yeah. He's just such a good goofball. Yeah. So that was solid. The rest of the film's a movie.
Yeah. It is definitely a hero movie. That's
it is.
A hero movie.
This is something produced by Disney.
Yep. I don't think it's one of their best.
No, it's probably not.
And we'll get to that every time we talk about another animated film this season, because this is setting the bar. We now know what the Academy voted as the best animated feature of this year. And then everything else, we're going to just be shocked and appalled, because I think this of the 5 nominees was probably the worst one.
Yeah, this is a massive chip in our shoulder, and we'll reference it consistently.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got it out of the way. And I want to thank you all for listening to Season 2, Episode 2 of Snubs and Dubs. As always, you can find us everywhere on social media at Snubs and Dubs. That's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Letterboxd, etc. We're also on Good Pods, so make sure to check us out there and join our official Discord. We'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this film or on this episode, so please send us a tweet or a message with a question, recommendation, or anything else. I'm also at Kyle Tobiasson, and Jason is at Wendy_Mills. Of course, all of those links are going to be in the show notes. Make sure to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Share the show to everyone you know, and check back next week for another episode. Here's a sneak peek of the film we're going to talk about.
Now you need to tell me what your plan is to save the world.
We're not meant to save the world. We're meant to leave it. And this is the mission we were trained for.
I've got kids, Professor.
Get out there and save them.
You have no I do when you're coming back?
I'm coming back.
That's right. Next time we're talking about Interstellar. Getting a big one out of the way. A literal big one. It is the longest movie that is on the slate this season.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah. Oh, and I have to do the plot.
Nice.
So make sure you watch it before next episode. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. Thanks for listening. That's a wrap.
Bye for now.
Bye.